Hey, what's up, guys? Jay Martin here. The number one skill everyone should have if you want to be special. I don't often use the word special. I think everyone's special, but special in a way you get more things done than other people. Become a producer, not just a consumer, right? The best way that I find to do that is to master time management. I'm gonna tell you, in my opinion, call it a principle if you will, but hear me out on this and apply this to your life, and tell you what, you'll immediately see changes. Changes on how you consume things on social media, changes on workflow, and things like that. Just understand this principle or advice, and that's it. Just get my message here, and hopefully, you'll start building the habit into being more effective with time. Unfortunately, it's really complicating for most people. A lot of people major in minor things. They know more about other people's lives instead of their own. And so the time and energy is spent on things that don't really matter. There's really only about 5 to 8 categories that matter in life. And as long as you max out those 5 to 8 things, you're set. But that's not an overnight thing. That takes time and years even. Great relationships, great careers, truly anything that's a great attainment will take a few years. Real big companies on average, they take about 10 years to build something truly meaningful. That's a long time. 10 years is a child. So we all want it faster. And although I do believe in patience, I also do believe in the possibility of having something faster. And I'm sure you do too. So we try different techniques, different methods like strict scheduling, certain routines. You get the idea. I've personally tried a lot of strict scheduling myself and tried a bunch of other stuff. I've scheduled out every single hour of my day for 50 days, soon realized that I can structure my whole life after that experience. But yeah, I've stopped doing that because for me, limiting yourself from being spontaneous because you literally know how your day is going to go, being super disciplined and all that, doesn't really make you the most happy. Obviously, there's a plus side, which makes you dial in everything you need to do and get those stuff done. You develop a lot of self respect and a higher sense of self esteem because you keep the promises to yourself. But I'm sort of trying to get rid of the concept of having to be somewhere at a specific place and a specific time. Ultimately, I like to just get things done when I feel the most effective at working on those things. The good thing is, I work on things that I love, so it makes me happy anyways, right? I also love creating videos and connecting with you guys. I wouldn't mind allocating a few hours of my day doing that, so, anyways, back to the topic. When it comes to different ways of managing time, there's truths to every method. So let's get into the crux of the matter. Let's talk about the only thing that matters in time management. And crazily enough, it isn't like a method, it's just a mental switch. A lot of life, I find, is just a mental switch. So the first thing you need to know is that in a world of over 7 billion people, we're all breathing the same air and we're certainly sharing the same amount of 24 hours with some of the most highest achievers. Same 24 hours with also the most unproductive people on planet Earth, right? So you better become a master of time management if you want to improve that skill. I do consider it a skill because some can manage it better than others. So the first thing you need to know is that tactics don't really matter. Hate to break it to you, but I think this is true. But before I explain why it doesn't, I do want to recommend and talk about a few things you can take away and read or study so you can do your own assessment and just have a better general idea of different philosophies. By the way, feel free to drop down what you think is the best way that helps you to be more efficient. I'd always love to know, and it could help someone out. So, in terms of philosophies, there's a lot out there that you can check out. I'm sure you've heard of the 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferris. He sort of talks about focusing on things that pushes you further out the most. And there's also Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. Dr. John DeMartini talks pretty much about the same thing, and he recommends doing higher value things and delegating the lower value activities. So there's a lot out there, right? Everything is true. I think through a little bit of consuming productivity hacks, for a lack of better words, and through a little bit of your own experience and actually executing on those things, There's a clear difference in being productive and being busy. So, real quick, I just want to recommend a few books here. A book by Peter Drucker called Managing Oneself. It's a really quick book. Literally, you can pick it up and read it in one sitting if you want to. Or if you want to be more efficient, since we're talking about the topic of efficiency, just check out a book summary. Just a little secret between you and I. That's kind of what I do. But another book on time management, Gary Keller, The One Thing. He has this domino effect in time management. So he says you can't manage all of your time, you can't manage everything equally, so you find out the one thing in your life that you can push, and when you push on it, all of the time management kind of falls in place. And I will tell you, of all those philosophies, there's different philosophies. I just gave you about 4 or 5 of them, but there's more to it. We could talk for hours on just different topics alone. There's also a book called Getting Things Done by David Allen. He has more of an organizational time management approach. Stockpile, clarify, and then organize, I think, is the whole idea. But tell you what, if you look at the most richest person in the world as of right now, Jeff Bezos, if you look at his morning routine, his time management, what do you get? It's some of the most wholesome and it sounds like the most enjoyable things ever. He cooks pancakes for his family for breakfast. I think he takes his kids to school and he spends time with his wife and he just sits down and daydreams until 10 o'clock in the morning and then he just goes to his office. This is the richest man alive. So you see, there's different time management philosophies and you can choose one that you like. Maybe one resonates with you more. Maybe you like things structured. Maybe you just like to be more free. You just have to find your style, I think. I'm not an expert here. Like I've said in some of my videos, I don't want to be an expert, really. I don't want to teach with authority. I don't want to teach for being an expert. I want to teach as a friend. So, as a friend, you can take my advice or not. But what I would want you to do and want you to know is to find your own style and see what resonates. And also know that none of them is absolutely right. I and I find this quite funny actually, but it's like saying what's the proper way to cook an egg, right? What's the proper way to peel an orange? Well, to cook an egg, you can boil it, you can fry it, you can add some vegetables, mushrooms, bacon, turn it into an omelet. You know what I'm saying? So there's a metaphor that you can buy into if you want to look at it that way. But there's various approaches to cooking an egg, okay? There's no one way. There's different people that do it in slightly different ways. So the first thing you got to know in time management is that there's no absolute rule. The second thing you have to know is that you kind of have to see your options. That's why I brought up the different philosophies. And if you want some tactical advice right now, I gave you a few book choices that produced some of the most highly effective individuals in the world. I don't know. Don't want to exaggerate there, but pick one for a while and see if it fits your lifestyle. And the third one is experiment with many, many things. Do not listen to somebody that says, to be successful, you have to wake up in 4 in the morning. To be successful, there's some people, me included, I find that the best ideas I get is at night. I sort of find my muse at night. I don't know. That's where I get the most creative. There's a great book I highly recommend. Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art. He refers something called the muse, almost like a flow state, which is a state of consciousness known to researchers as flow. You may know flow by other names, right? If you're a runner, you call it a runner's high. If you're an athlete of any sort, it's called being in the zone. But some people get their most creative ideas in the morning. Some people like to do intermittent fasting. I've tried that for a few months as well. Didn't really enjoy it, although I did find it to be really helpful with losing body fat. But you gotta try new things. And I want to leave you with this. And by the way, I'll leave the highlighted things to note just like on every other video. I'll leave you with this. Building a successful life is like building anything else. It should be thoroughly thought about in advance and then carried through with completion. That's a great one, but it's kind of long. It's kind of hard to remember. Here's a better version of it. All of success in life is through task completion. I'll repeat that again because the first time I heard it, I was just flabbergasted. All of success in life is task completion. If you don't complete tasks, you have no future in anything. And so, if task completion is the key, then what you need to do is complete more tasks and then you build it up to the more important ones. So, here's my invitation to you: sleep whatever time you would like, as long as it's reasonable, of course. Start your morning routine with whatever fulfills you the most, but when it comes to work, get things done. All right, guys, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed, let me know if you made it to the end of this video so I can thank you. But till then, peace and love.